Hello everyone. So welcome to the channel of RD Automation Learning. In this video, we are going to start with a new series, a new playlist that is how to become from zero to hero in terms of software testing. So we will be dealing more about the software testing concepts, and we would be covering with the real-time examples, real-time websites. We would be designing those test cases. We would be telling you in detail level how the testing has been done in the actual world. Now, many of the folks are there who are approaching us on the top mate or on the YouTube as well. And they are expecting us to tell about the real time things, what is happening within the industry, what is happening within the companies, organizations, how software testing is done. Some of the people even have doubt that is software testing job really job opportunities are there in the market or not. So the answer is yes, the job opportunities are there, and those job opportunities would be there because you can just see the level of softwares applications being developed day by day. Who would be testing these applications? Who would be taking charge of the quality? So definitely the software testing team, the software testers, you can say QA engineers, you can say test analyst, SDET engineers, all these people need to take place, need to take charge of the quality and ensure the software is working fine. So what we will do is we'll be dealing in this video about the basics of the software testing. So first of all, we'll understand why do you want to learn, why you should learn software testing in 2024. In 2024, if you will see right now, by April 24, so most of the people are still worried about the jobs, the freshers who haven't received the job offers, or the freshers who haven't received still the joining dates, right? Then there are experienced people who have got laid off. So see, these kind of things would be coming up in the IT industry. Those things are a part of the IT industry. The recession, the cost cutting, the economic side down, all these things are a part and parcel of the industries now. Earlier, if you will see in the 2020, 2021, lots of people got hired on the packages uh, exactly double to what they were expecting. So these things are going to happen in the market. But what is going to prevent you from getting impacted from such things is that you should have knowledge, you should have skills, you should have sufficient experience so that you are able to stand at par in the market compared to others. And that's why this playlist is very important. And in this playlist, we will be covering from the scratch. So it might happen that some of the people might get bored that yes, we already know this, but they can use this playlist as a part of interview preparation, because we would be covering testing interview questions. We would be covering what are the different answers that you should see, you should answer if you are getting this kind of questions in an interview, right? So learning software testing in 2024 is definitely very important, and it is in demand. So why there is a demand of software testers? Because if you will see, this is an era of AI, digital transformation, machine learning, right? You have AI tools all over available, right? But would AI replace manual testers? Would AI replace testing? So the answer is no. For example, um, let's think from the real time examples point of view, right? So these are few of the theoretical aspects, but I would like to give you a clarity of what's happening in the real world outside it, right? So many of you might be there who are watching this playlist who are still to get a job in the software testing, right? Many of you are already experienced. Many of you are from the non-IT background, and you are transitioning, and you are thinking to transition from non-IT background to the software testing, right? Many of you might be working in the production support, and you are thinking to switch your career from non-IT to testing. So let's discuss about all these things, and we'll be covering real-time aspects. So let's take an example of a real-time project wherein there is a product-based company, and the stakeholder is telling that they are looking for an e-commerce website application, and they need the payment functionality. There is a payment functionality already there in the e-commerce website, right? The payment functionality would be there. Now they have to develop it as per the Japanese currency. Currently, the payment functionality is as per US currency, but they would like to develop it as per the Japanese currency also, right? So what would you give to the AI things? So let's say if it's a chat GPT or any other AI tool, so you would search, okay, how to test the payment functionality with the Japanese technology or with the Japanese currency. They will give you a few of the scenarios, right? You can use those test scenarios, you can use those suggestions, you can use those points and incorporate in your test cases. But what testing needs to be done? How testing needs to be done? Who will sign off that user story, right? So generally you will get this in the form of user story, right? In the form of Jira. So who will sign off this user story? So it is you as a tester. You are supposed to sign off, not AI person can sign it off. AI is just a tool. Those tools are available in the market to increase your productivity. When I say increasing your productivity means, for example, earlier you were taking 4 to 5 hours in, for example, right, in mind mapping or in thinking or in brainstorming. What would be the test cases for this particular functionality? What would be the test cases for this particular feature? But now it's the time that you can use these tools. You can reduce your time that you were investing in test case writing, and you can utilize that time in testing, right? That's what you have to do. So there is an increasing demand for the skilled software testers, right? If you are skilled, if you are having good knowledge of software testing, then definitely there is a demand for you. And recently the job market has also opened. The calls have started coming up for the experienced people also, and it is expected for the freshers also. Very soon they'll be getting placed. Then the next is complex software systems. Just imagine an investment banking domain application, right? That has got a lot of permutations and combinations, a lot of users trying to access that application and performing some action. So features are there, a lot of functionalities are there. If you deliver the software without testing to the client, do you think client is going to come back again to you with the business perspective? No, that's not going to happen. If you don't give the proper tested softwares to the client, they are going to, you know, end up the business. If it's a product based company, the stakeholders will no longer trust that team, and they might also start laying off that particular teams because of the bugs, because of the critical things that are happening. Just imagine an example of any kind of a sport. Let's say IPL match is going on, right? And you are watching it on Disney Hotstar, right? That is also an OTT, that's also an application, that's also a software, right? So you're watching a match, and you are facing buffering issues because of a lot of people are watching the match, right? So imagine it's a final going on, and there are a lot of people who are watching that match at the same time, right? So what is the response time of that OTT application, right? So performance is good or not? Is it responding in the proper time period or not, right? So it's these are complex systems, right? These are complex applications. This needs to be tested well, right? Quality expectations. So day by day, quality expectations are increasing, right? Just imagine if you have opened an account in a bank and you are not able to do the transaction in the time period, you would go ahead and hit the negative reviews. You will go ahead and write down all the negative points about those applications or softwares, right? So there is an increase in demand for the software tester. So definitely testing is in demand. Testing would be in demand. There is the market of the testing would always be there, right? Now, importance of quality assurance in software development, right? So these are very basic things. So you are there to ensure the functionalities are working fine, the functionality is working as per expectations, right? The testing team, the QA team, they will help to minimize the risk of releasing the software with critical issues or performance issues. So in a real-time companies, in a real-time projects also, the software testers, the testing team is there to sign off the product before it is being released, right? So who takes the final decision of the release is happening or not? It's the QA team. It's the software testing team. They will take the final decision. They will be in charge. They are also called as gatekeepers, right? So for example, let's take an example of a feature. So let me share my screen. Okay, so consider that first, or let's say 27th of July 2024, you have a release, right? This is a timeline. This is given by the customer, and they need this software to be available by 27th of July 2024. So definitely the software would be going under the various phases. So we'll see those phases also in the SDLC, in the STLC, right? And the there are development teams, there are testing teams, there are project managers, there are business analysts, right? So what it would happen is they would be dividing various phases. So for example, by April, the initial planning would be done. By May, the designing would be done. By June, you would be receiving the software in the testing phase, right? So you would start testing it, and July is the timeline. And if it's an agile, then it will go, if it's a V&V model, it will go hand in hand, right? Now, on 27th of July, the release date is there. So last week would be the date, would be the week of the release testing, right? So during release testing means you have code freeze, nothing can be pushed in the build, or nothing, no changes can be done in the software, right? And you would be going ahead with the release testing. If you find any bugs in the release testing, right, you'll get them fixed. But if you find any blocker or critical bugs, then it is the QA team's authority, it is also the other team's authority also to take that decision to prevent that risk. That risk is that this particular bug should not go in the software because it is going live in the production on 27th of July, right? So such kind of decision making powers are with the QA team, and there are other team members also who are having such kind of decision making powers, right? So quality is not just a responsibility of software testing team, it is the responsibility of everyone. So everyone will be sharing the load of the quality, everyone would be taking care of the quality in the team, right? Then enhancing user experience. So as a user, how do you see that software, right? Is it something that is in which you are seeing some usability issues? Are those buttons, UI, UX, the options correctly displayed, right? So these all things you would be taking care as a part of the quality assurance. Compliances, regulations, right? The software should be meeting as per the industry standards and the requirements, right? So recently, if you will see the e-commerce website, you will have good kind of options, right? Like add to cart, and there are various options as per the market standards, right? Earlier these options were not there, but if you see some websites which are still developed with the legacy thought process, then these things you need to highlight, right? Then evolving testing methodologies and frameworks. So agile testing, so we'll come to the agile testing agile methodology as well, right? What is the role that agile plays? What is the difference between agile and waterfall model? So those things we will be seeing in detail, right? Why the companies have switched or they are switching towards agile, right? Then automation and AI. What is the integration of the testing along with AI? So these things we will be seeing. Shift left approaches. So shifting testing earlier in the development process. So it would help the testers also to help to have more time in testing, right? So to find issues early, to get them fixed early, reducing cost and time to the market, right? Opportunities for the career growth in the software testing field. So there are a lot of opportunities. So let me take you to one particular table. Hmm. Okay. Now, whenever you will see any kind of job description with respect to software testing, you would see these particular terms, right? QA, software testing, test analyst, SDIT, right? And these are all the things that are few of the, you know, important tools and technologies that you need to have the knowledge on with respect to the number of years of experience. Now, I'm not sure what is the years of experience this video is being viewed by, right? So please put in the comment section of the video how many years of experience you have, and what kind of role you are looking forward in the testing. So it would help us to, you know, bit streamline this playlist in the same direction, right? So whenever you will see the job description of the software testing, you would be seeing they are looking for QA role, they are looking for senior QA lead, QA managers, QA architect, right? Or you might be seeing SDET1, right? So SDET is software development and test, right? Then SDET2, SDET3, SDET4, SDET5, right? And these are the number of years of experience on the basis of which they are being broken down, right? So if you have 0 to 3 years of experience, and if it's a manual testing job opportunities, right, then definitely you would be expected to know about the testing concepts, right? Like how would you design the test cases? How would you execute those test cases? How would you create a defect? What kind of defects you have found so far, right? So basics of the testing concepts, that thing you need to know as a part of the QA engineer, right? And executing test cases. This comes with 0 to 3 years of experience. And here you can expect slightly modification 0 to 2.5, right? Those kind of years of experience. Then 3 to 7 years of experience. So you are supposed to design test cases, review test cases of your peers, right? Apart from that, you would be taking part into the estimation. You would be taking part into the grooming meetings, right? So grooming meeting is nothing but it's a kind of an agile ceremony in which the testing team as well as the development team, they'll be sitting, they'll be having a meeting call with the business analysts, the project managers, and they'll be discussing what are the different uh, expectations from this particular requirement or this particular user story, right? So you would be taking part in the grooming meeting. Of course, you would be doing test case execution, right? Then bug logging, defect logging, right? Retesting, regression testing, right? So these are all the things that as a senior QA you would be doing, right? Helping the junior team members in executing their test cases, helping them with the product knowledge, helping the new joinee in your team or in your project with the product knowledge, right? Then if the product is already live, you might be responsible for, let's say if you get any query from the customer that this functionality is not working with respect to this scenario. So reproduce the bug in the QA environment, right? Get the steps to replicate that particular defect or issue which has been raised by the client, get it fixed, discuss with the development team, right? These all things are the responsibilities, right? It is not possible to note down everything, but I'm trying to cover the maximum things that are the roles and responsibilities of the QA engineer in the real-time industries, right? Then as a QA lead, you would be taking part in the estimation, right? You will be making test plans, you'll be making test strategies, right? You would be uh, performing the final review on the kind of the user stories or the requirements which have been signed off by your team, right? So that's the role of a QA lead. Hmm? And then what does QA manager does? So QA manager would be doing planning, he would be supporting the team, he would be coming up with the knowledge transfer sessions, he would be coming up with the training sessions, he would be training sessions with respect to software testing. Hmm? Then helping their team members with the certifications that are available, helping their teams with the uh, more if recruitment or interviews or any kind of more resources they need to hire as per the project requirements, right? So for example, let me give you one example on this. Okay. So meanwhile, by the time I give you the example, please put in the comment section of the video, how do you find this series? How do you find this playlist? Is it important? And what are the different topics that you would want us to cover in this particular series? Hmm? See, now let's say it's a service-based company. So in a service-based company, what you would be doing is you would be getting the business from the client. So now the client is telling that there is a new project in which they give you an option. Okay. So they give you the the work that is needs to be done. So as a part of QA, you will identify, okay, how much work needs to be done. So whether it's a three resources work, or whether it's a work that could be completed by four resources or five resources. Now, if you have only three people currently in your company, or and one person is on bench, right? So generally in these companies like Cognizant, TCS, Infosys, right, this is how they will be managing the resources. So let's say if you have got the work of five QA members, right, you already have three people in your team, one person is on bench. So they'll be requesting the recruitment team to hire one or two more candidates so that they are able to get the work done as per the billing. Hmm? So that's how these kind of things are happening. So what the QA manager will do, he will send an email with the job description with the requirements to the recruitment team. The recruitment team will post the information. So what does recruitment team will do? They will post the information of the JD or the roles and responsibilities on various portals like Naukri, LinkedIn, right? And then the candidates will apply to those job descriptions, and they will be giving interviews, and they'll be getting selected. So this is how the QAs are getting hired, right? So what kind of skill set is required, that is depending on the business aspect, that is depending on the client, what the client is really looking for. Hmm? Right? So that is nothing but the various roles that we were seeing. Okay, let me take you back to that screen. Now, this is QA engineer, or this is test analyst. In some of the companies, you would also see that QA, the title of the role is QA, and they'll be doing automation as well, right? So if it's a QA automation guy, right, then they should know the basics of the Selenium, right? Again, here it's an open source tool, Selenium. In some of the companies, they do have the paid tools like Catalan Studio, hmm, then Neosoft. All these are paid tools which can do automation as well. But generally what happens is, in the companies, they will use Selenium. Selenium has been widely used because it's an open source tool. There's a lot of support from the community as well, and hence Selenium is widely used. But I'm not telling you to restrict yourself in learning other tools or technologies in the market. But yes, there are many other tools and technologies that are widely used, and you can use them as well. So apart from Selenium, the other tools that you would see in the market with respect to software testing, for example, in API testing, that is in Postman, that is also in demand. With respect to performance testing, JMeter, right? Again, in Selenium automation itself, now API automation also can be done. So again, you can learn rest assured. So with respect to SDET, these are the various things, these are the various tools and technologies that you need to have a knowledge, right, with respect to SDET engineer. And if you are into the automation, then definitely DevOps will be playing a vital role. So you would be integrating your automated test with the DevOps tool. Now, those days are gone when you used to, or we used to run the test from the run button in an IDE, right? All these test scripts are integrated with the DevOps tools such as Jenkins, Azure DevOps, right? These tools are widely used, and they also help in CI/CD, right? So if you are an SDET2 kind of an engineer, you should know Jenkins, Git, Cloud, right? If you are an SDET3, you should know all these things. Apart from this, you should also know AWS, how to set up machines in AWS, right? Or Rackspace. Then SDET4, you should be doing code review, right? You should be seeing how to increase the code coverage, which are the lines of the code that are not covered by the automated test suites, right? So you can guide your team, you can ask them to sort of introduce those kind of code also in your automated test, so that your automated test coverage increases, right? Then QA architect, so they'll be taking the decision on the automation frameworks, right? What kind of framework would be useful in this project? What are the different things that they need to do in the framework? What are the enhancements that they need to do in the automation framework? Different utilities that they need to incorporate, They'll be working on multiple projects, right? It is not like they are working in a single project. They are working in the multiple projects. They have hands-on knowledge on Selenium, web automation, APM, TestNG, programming languages like Java, Python, SQL, definitely Postman, JMeter, DevOps, different open source tools that are available apart from these. For example, Venium maybe for desktop automation. They are working on multiple projects, right? And these are about SDET roles, right? And apart from this, you will also be seeing the people doing ETL testing. Okay, what is ETL testing? So in ETL testing, they would be playing with the data. They would be dealing more about the data. Hmm? So let me give you a brief overview of the ETL testing as well. Then there is Salesforce testing. Hmm? So these are all the things that testers would be doing, and it's 2024, but after 2024 also these things would be in demand, right? So see, these are the roles and responsibilities for the ETL testers. Hmm? So they'll be dealing with data extraction, they'll be dealing with data transformation. So ETL means extraction, transforming the data and loading the data, right? So they'll be dealing with extraction, transformation, loading. They'll be doing incremental loading testing, right? They'll be playing with all sorts of data, right? In an application, in the manual testers or the software testers, they'll be working with the application functionalities. But in ETL testing, they'll be doing all these kinds of testings. They'll be playing with the data. They'll be doing regression testing, integration testing, performance testing. So we'll cover these topics, these terms also in this videos, right? Then reconciliation testing. They'll be performing reconciliation between the source data and the target data, and they'll be ensuring the data consistency is there or not, right? Then apart from this, there are also security testers, performance testers, right? Performance testers. So as we just discussed about the OTT app example, right, in which you are seeing the maybe there are one or two more balls have been balled, but still the score is not updated. So those kind of things would be identified via performance testing. So in the performance testing, you will be analyzing the software's responsiveness, speed, and the scalability to meet the user expectations, right? Then usability testing, accessibility testing, all these are enhancing user experience through effective testing. Okay. Now, integrating testing into the software development lifecycle. So we will cover that. So let us first cover the various things. So if you are a QA engineer, or if you are looking to make your career in the software testing, right? And as this is a starting video of this playlist, so I would request you to have these particular four things in your blood, right? So one is continuous learning. What is continuous learning? That is to keep yourself updated with the latest tools and technologies that are coming up in the market, right? So just imagine, if you will, for example, uh, you might be working till 2013 or 2012, and then you took a career gap, or you had some career break because of some XYZ reason, and in 2024 you are resuming back into the software testing, right? So within these 10 years, DevOps has got a lot of importance, and it is widely used in the test automation. So your responsibility would be to learn the DevOps tools. Your responsibility would be to ensure that the testing is properly integrated with the DevOps, and how are things taking up in this, right? So those things are important, right? One more good example would be there are tools like selectors. There are tools like Test Case Studio. These things have come up in the market. They are helping so much the community in their day-to-day work, in making their work productive, right? So it's very important that you have the knowledge about the latest tools and technologies. You can attend conferences, you can attend workshops, seminars to broaden your knowledge with respect to software testing. There are some certifications also, those are available. Those also you can do if you are looking for some kind of certifications in software testing, right? Like ISTQB, CSQA, CSTE, right? Then networking and collaboration. How would you increase your network? How would you make sure that you are connected with the others? So LinkedIn is the best platform, right? Instead of taking out time on Instagram or on Facebook Reels, I would request you to take out some time on LinkedIn and make some network on that. Collaborate with the people, connect with them, right? So if you want to connect with us, then you can also connect with us on the TopMate, right? So let me showcase you the TopMate also. So TopMate is actually a platform wherein we are conducting mock interviews, right? And those are conducted at a very nominal cost, right? So let me just share my screen. So if you are looking for 1:1 mentorship, or if you're looking for resume review, interview preparation and tips, career guidance, right? So these all things are available on TopMate. Not only that, even the ebook that I am referring to in this particular video, the software testing fundamentals, that is also available in the TopMate itself. So I'll be putting the link of that ebook in the comment section of the video also, right? So this was about the industry trends, okay? And then networking and collaboration we were discussing. Apart from that, embracing new technologies. So there are new frameworks, new tools that are available coming in the market. So one should be ready for them. Okay. The various roles in the software testing. So I think we covered those things, right? The quality assurance engineers, automation testers, security testers, right? These things we just covered. In automation, what does an individual do? What does a QA engineer do? What are the roles and responsibilities of the software tester, right? Yeah. So that is again a very important interview question. So let me quickly take you to that, and then we'll cover the software development life cycle. So first, the proper interview question that would be asked to you in an interview is, what are the roles and responsibilities? What do you do every day as a software tester, right? So these are the roles and responsibilities. So that is an important question that would be covered in this video. And it is actually, if you see from the real time perspective, then this is what an individuals who are doing a job as a software testers or QA engineers, they would be doing this, right? So first of all, they'll be checking the emails, right? As in part of emails, what you would do is you will check about the defects, about the updates that you would get about on those defects, whether those are being fixed by the development team, or the development team has reopened it, or the development team has discarded that defect, right? Then you will also check the tickets or the issues that are being assigned to you, right? So any fixed bugs have come up, but still if you don't have the build, so you will make a note down of all those things so that you can highlight such things in the daily sync up call. What is daily sync up call? So if you are aware about agile methodology, so we'll be covering in this playlist that also. In agile methodology, every day in the morning you would be a part of daily sync up calls. Not only testers, but even the developers would be a part of the daily sync up call. In that, these things would be discussed. What did you do yesterday? What you are going to do today? Any impediments or any challenges that you have? So for example, one of the challenge can be that the Jira ticket or the Jira issue has been assigned to you, but you don't have the build to test that particular functionality. You don't have the environment that is up and running. Maybe due to the infrastructure issue, the environment itself is down, right? So these are the various things that a tester can highlight as a part of challenges, right? One more challenge can be that maybe the functionality itself is not working. So the build is delivered to a tester. The tickets is also moved to deploy to QA status, but still it is not working. So that is also a challenge, right? Maybe the new changes have not been checked in, right? So this is email update and daily sync up call. Then requirement grooming and analysis. So you would be taking part into the requirement grooming meetings, right? So recently we saw about grooming meetings, wherein you would be going through the different requirements, or you would be going through the various acceptance criteria that are mentioned in the user stories, and you will be identifying whether these requirements are clear those are having, you would get 100% clarity. If you don't get 100% clarity, then you would not be moving to the next step, which is the analysis phase or the test case design phase. So until unless you don't have clear understanding of what is being expected from that particular user story, don't proceed with the test case writing. You might be taking part into the test estimation, right? So how much time would it take to estimate a user story or a feature? How much time would you take to test that particular user story or feature, right? So that is important, right? Test estimation, then test case design and creation, right? Which are the different things that you would be doing as a part of test case design? You would be writing the test cases as per testing techniques like boundary value analysis, equivalence partitioning, right? Don't worry about these terms. We'll be seeing these terms in details in the upcoming videos. Then test cases review, test cases execution. Someone from your team who is senior to you would be reviewing those test cases, and they will be um, giving you the feedback, the suggestions, and then you would be updating those test cases accordingly, and then you will execute those test cases. You'll report the defects, you'll perform retesting once the defects are fixed, you'll perform regression testing. You might be a part of the defect triaging call, right? And then you might be coordinating with the project managers, business analyst, right? So these are the different roles and responsibilities that you have to tell if you get this question in an interview. What are your roles and responsibilities as a software tester? How do you start your day? What do you do in your entire day, right? So testing is just not to execute test cases. Testing is just not to perform testing. There are so many roles, there are so many responsibilities that are associated with the software testing. Okay, then you might be doing test documentation, you might be going ahead with the review meeting, you might be going ahead with the demo to the stakeholder or to the owner that this thing has been developed, right? So these all things would come into your roles and responsibilities itself. Okay, now let's start with the concepts. So in this playlist, what we would do is we would go through these kind of concepts. We would also cover the testing interview questions and answers that you need to provide. And we will also see the real-time examples of how testing is being done, right? So, and we will also come up with a website, and in which we would be writing those test cases, we would be executing those test cases, and what are the different types of testing that we have. So we'll try to cover as much as possible in this particular video, but what we need from you is please hit the like button on these videos so that it reaches to the maximum. Not every person can afford this kind of personal coaching, personal training for the software testing, and that's why these videos are made free for you. And yes, there are complimentary some documents that are available on the top mate to support your learning, but again, those are available at a very nominal cost, right? So anyone who is looking for learning this kind of concepts free of cost, then these videos are for them, right? So that's it for this video. We would be covering the software development lifecycle in the next video. And please let us know in the comment section of the video, how do you like, what is the feedback from your side on this playlist? How do you feel about this playlist? And what are your suggestions? What is your feedback on this playlist, which is becoming a zero to hero in software testing in 2024, right? So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching this video, and don't forget to hit the like button and stay tuned for more updates.